Welcome back to another episode of Central PA Pour. We're at another beautiful establishment here today in York, PA. My name is Ben, and I'll swing it around for the guys here.
Hey, and I am Brett.
I'm Dave.
Kevin.
And as Ben said, we are sitting in another beautiful looking facility, and we are happy that we were able to make contact and come down here and finally get this interview. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves, where they can find you guys, and tell us a little bit about your establishment. So welcome to the Central PA Pour.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Thanks for making the trip and carving out the time today. We're super excited you guys are here and happy to chat about all things beer and Wyndridge Farm. So I'm Jason Reese, CEO of Wyndridge Farm. You can find us at 885 South Pleasant Avenue in Dallastown, PA. We're just south of York. And joining me is...
I'm Irina Wise. I'm the head brewer here at Winding Path Brewing at Wyndridge Farm, and I'm also the head of quality for all of the Wyndridge Farm beverages.
So we thank you for having us, and it's great to finally meet you. And we've come down here mainly chasing the one story, being a female head brewer. But tell us a little bit about Wyndridge and Winding Path, where they can find you guys, and where you're located at.
So Wyndridge Farm is home to Winding Path Brewing Company and Wyndridge Cider Company. Wyndridge Farm's our parent company, and we have a beautiful facility here in Dallastown, PA. We've got a 10,000 square foot restaurant event facility in the brewery that we're sitting in right now. So we do everything from special events, private events, large community events like today. You guys are joining us for our summer music festival. Outside, we got live bands all day from 12 to 9. Our beer garden is open with our draft trailer and all our tasty beverages, as well as our excellent scratch-made and prepared food right here on the farm. So you can find us online, wyndridge.com. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Wyndridge Farm. You'll also find us at Winding Path Brewing Company on Instagram and Facebook, and Wyndridge Cider Company on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, so great. It's you said you have a lot of stuff that you do down here. You guys did a walkthrough, and it is a beautiful looking facility.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot to offer here.
Yeah, it's a great facility. I loved it.
Yeah,
family friendly.
Yeah.
You know,
great space to bring the kids out, bring the family out. We've got a huge green space out back where the live music goes on. You can on event days like today, we encourage people to bring their own chairs, bring their own tents, spend the afternoon here, explore the farm, explore the space. And really just enjoy yourselves, kick back and relax, and enjoy, Central PA in the summertime.
Yeah, they actually have a small amphitheater sitting outside.
Yeah.
And I was impressed. I saw that. It had a guitar player, and I'm a former guitar player before arthritis. But anyway, I was watching him play, and he was impressive. But I like the way that was set up. It's you have a stage, full stage, and you have the chairs for people to sit. And it's out in the air, so it's in the air concert, so it's kind of nice.
So you do not just the summer series, you got other stuff you do throughout the year as well.
Yeah, we have a bunch of events that you can find online at wyndridge.com. We've got a whole event schedule, not just July, the summer music series. We try to focus on smaller artists, independent artists, local artists from Harrisburg, Lancaster, York areas. But you'll find that we have stuff happening in August, September, and October. We've got a art festival in August, middle of August. We'll have 100 plus artists out here, independent artists, local artists, mostly all PA and Maryland artists. So we encourage the community to come out and support those artists, as well as the artists that we have on site, like Irina and Scott Topol, our head cider maker, that make the products that we serve here every day. So you'll find all that stuff online at wyndridge.com.
Are you open every day of the week, or is there certain days you're not open?
So Mondays and Tuesdays, our restaurant and hospitality facility is closed. Our brewery operates Monday through Friday. So you got to come enjoy us on Wednesday through Sunday.
Cool. So, Irina.
Yes.
You were the reason that we really wanted to come down here. You are a female head brewer.
That's right.
I think it is an interesting aspect. There's not a lot of female head brewers out there, and I think it's a fabulous story. But before we get into what got you into brewing, how did you get from Oregon to PA?
Well, I'm not from PA or Oregon originally. I'm from Detroit originally. And I moved out to Oregon when I was 18. I wanted to go west. And it was while I was living in Portland, Oregon, working on my bachelor's degree in chemistry that I got interested in the craft brewing industry. And as far as getting into the craft brewing industry, craft brewers are a little more accessible out there. There's a brewery on every block, and it's not too hard to find someone. Everybody is friends with a brewer. So I just asked a couple people, got introduced to some brewers, and was able to start out at entry level out there, cleaning tanks and filling kegs. And after 3 years working out there, I decided I wanted to size up a little bit. And they were hiring brewers out here in PA. And it seemed like a nice place to live. So I came out here, and I've just stayed.
Well, that's good. I think Jason's glad that you came east from the West Coast.
Definitely.
And Pennsylvania's pretty much getting that way, too. A brewery almost in every corner. It's
Big time,
I
yep.
think we mentioned
Yeah.
that there was, 11 years ago, there was maybe like 40 or 50, and now there's like 400 and some in PA alone, and it just keeps growing. So, Irina, you say chemistry, so that you do need some chemistry background to understand reactions and stuff like that. So I think it's great, and we'll get into some of that issues like that. But I said we're going to get into pretty much our first tasting. But Ben, where can they find us on
Social media. You'll find us at Central PA Pour on all social, on all of our episode descriptions, on whatever podcast platform you're listening to, or YouTube. You'll find where we have a link tree. On there, you will find links for all of our social stuff, all of our episode stuff. Soon you'll find something for merch on there. There's a guest form if you're interested in hanging out with us and, showing off what you have as far as this awesome industry goes. Then fill out that guest form. Again, at Central PA Pour. Like, share, subscribe to anything you can. We appreciate everything that you guys are doing for us.
Yep. So, yeah. So, Irina, let's get into our first tasting. So tell us what we're going to be drinking.
You're going to be drinking our Kolsch, which is a beer we just started brewing this spring. And it's definitely a beer that brewers love because it's a little lighter, low alcohol. You can have a couple of them, and it really lets the raw materials shine through. Kolsch is what's known as a hybrid style because we use an ale yeast but ferments it at lower temperatures, which is normally what you do for a lager. So it's kind of between, it's an ale, but it's more similar to a lager. So you'll really be able to taste the raw materials like the malt. You'll notice that what really comes through is the honey character in the Vienna malt that we used.
So we do a little kit brewing.
Didn't we try a Kolsch?
We did try it. No, wait. Let me correct it. I tried the Kolsch.
Yeah, you tried the
because
Kolsch.
You guys weren't able to come over to my house.
We ran.
So we do just beer kits. We're dabbling. So I got this Kolsch kit. My wife had gotten COVID right after Christmas. So I'm like, I'm going to brew a beer, but I couldn't brew it with my buddies. And it was going to be, it's a Kolsch, and I got a little raspberry flavoring to add to it. Well, it's not a Kolsch anymore. It's basically just a raspberry flavored beer.
It's a raspberry drink.
That's about what it is. So,
Yeah.
but let's get into doing a little bit of the Kolsch. Cheers.
Cheers.
So a Kolsch. That's light, crisp, and clean.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And the definitely, the longer it sits, the more the maltiness comes.
Yeah.
The sweetness of that malts come out.
We were really, really happy with this one, the way that it turned out. It was actually, we brewed it for a project, for a project. We were sending a bunch of product over to the UK for a beer subscription box that we did recently with a bunch of other breweries from Pennsylvania. So we first time brewing this beer in particular, correct?
Yep.
So as far as your ingredients, where do you get your ingredients? Is it you source local, or do you do whatever you can get, whatever recipe you're? Kind of describe that.
Most of the time, it's whatever we can get. We don't try to. We substitute in domestic ingredients when they can. Not particularly Pennsylvania grown, but grown on this side of the Atlantic. So where some breweries might go through a lot of trouble to get German grown malt, German grown this, we use malt grown in North America. That's the way brewing has historically been done with what's available to you. So we don't go out of our way to get all German malt for a German Kolsch. We just make it in the German style, but with the readily available ingredients.
Now, we usually do this for our ratings on Untapped, so they can give us a follow on Untapped. Are you guys on Untapped as well?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah, we're definitely there.
Have to.
Who's in charge of putting that up there? Do you write all the notes, or how does that work?
Our marketing team typically launches that prior to releasing a new brew. We will typically release it here on site at the farm first for guests of the farm, but prior to releasing it in wholesale. So you can get our beers exclusively here prior to release at wholesale, which is a nice feature.
Yeah.
Now, you got distribution wise. Are you distributing anywhere, or where can people find it other than here?
Yeah, great question. I mean, online at wyndridge.com, you can find us in the beer finder that we have on the site, and you can type in you can search by item if you're looking at item specific. You know that there's something you're looking for, or you can search by location. So there's an area code feature where you can find out where all of our products are,
Okay.
Beer and cider. Beer we primarily distribute in PA. We've been focused on Pennsylvania in particular. We do some distribution into Maryland of our beer products, but for the most part, we've been highly focused on Pennsylvania. We only really launched Winding Path Brewing Company as a thing in 2020, prior to COVID, and Irina's brought into the fray as our head brewer at that point.
Now, where did that name come from, Winding Path? Sitting at Wyndridge Farms, but
Great question. So in Old English, Wyndridge Farm means the dweller at the ridge of a winding path. We knew that bringing Irina on board, we needed to do something to differentiate the brand from where it had been in the past as Wyndridge Farm Brewing. So we set out to kind of establish that and her as the head brewer. We really feel that we're kind of a hidden gem here in Central PA as far as the products that we make, the products that Irina creates, with our sales team and our marketing team and the kind of collective brain trust of Wyndridge Farm to put together the beers that we put out every season. So we've been working hard since 2020 to make sure that people know who we are and what we're doing. And that's been part of that journey. So it's a great question. We do have a lot of people ask, like, hey, what's the deal? Why is it Winding Path Brewing and not Wyndridge Farm Brewing? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. We do a cider as well. We have a whole cider brand and cider company that really were the roots of what we did originally. And we knew that we needed to kind of differentiate ourselves from that when we're brewing our beer.
Now, do you do all your quality control up there in the room for both, or is that just for the beer here?
We do both there.
Do you? Mm-hmm. That's pretty nice up there.
So it wasn't a winding path that got you to PA then, right?
It's not what inspired it. It probably was a winding path, but that's not where the name comes from.
I was going to say, you drink a lot of beer, it might be a winding path, even though it might be a straight road.
Life's a winding path, so it's an ode to that a little bit in the sense.
I'm giving this a 4.0 for a Kolsch. It's very good.
It's a good number.
Yeah, it's a really nice beer.
It's a nice, clean. Sure looks a lot different than my Kolsch.
easy drinker, for sure.
It is.
Very
It is an
clean,
easy drinker.
refreshing.
I had to go a little higher, another half higher.
Another half hour? There you
I
go.
like it. I really like it.
Yeah, it's one of my tops. I'm probably a little biased, but for me, like this year, as far as what we've done and what we've released, it's one of my favorites for sure.
Now, do you have any staples you continually make that are your staple beers, Irina?
Yes, here at Winding Path, the Hazy IPA is our flagship. Last time I checked, it was 55% of our business by volume. That's the one we make over and over again. That's the first thing we teach any brewer to make when they come on board. That's our big one.
How large is your brewing team?
We have 2 brewers.
Okay.
And then there's 4 of us all together, including the cider, the cellar, and the packaging line staff.
All right. You guys got any other questions, or?
No, I just
So,
No, beside the beer and the cider, do you do anything else out here? I notice you have a very large food facility here.
Yeah.
I was wondering. You said that you also do weddings.
We do, yeah.
In other events like the open air concerts and such.
Yeah.
Anything else besides that you want to throw out there?
No, I mean, our kitchen is a scratch kitchen. I mean, we like to look at what we do as really artisans. I mean, we have scratch artisans that both make our beverages and do our food and food products. So there's a lot of work that goes into that, as you guys know, and how much time, effort, and energy goes into creating something from scratch, right? Creating something from raw material, whether it be in the kitchen or in the brewery facility. We have a wonderful menu, really, breadth and depth of menu is significant, kind of something for everybody, really. So I don't know if there's anything else that I didn't specifically cover. If I'm wissing anything, please.
Sounds like this is a place you want to go for everything.
Well, I was just going to say, what do you guys think where you stand out where nobody else does? I mean, I can name a dozen anyways already, just being back here.
Yeah, I think I guess to reiterate, what else do we do? I mean, we do canned wine. We do a scratch fruit fermented beverage, sparkling beverage that's really excellent. We also do craft sodas for the kids. So as far as NA beverages go, we do have a wide variety of those as well, and those are quite popular, particularly locally. We distribute those locally, grocery stores and otherwise. But I mean, differentiation, hospitality, you're going to have an excellent experience out here with us. We've got a team of professionals that really are just, engaged in what they do and love what they do. If it's a wedding or an event like today, professional bartenders, professional culinary staff, professional brewers and cider makers. So our green space sets us apart, I think. I mean, we're on 80 acres here south of York. The sunsets are fantastic.
I can't imagine.
Named after our sunset lager, which we don't have out here. We might have to go and grab. That's one of the year rounds that we produce. It's really, really an excellent beer. So I think our green space, our hospitality sets us apart. And you've got miles of space out there to enjoy with friends and family, and we really encourage that. We encourage you to spend the day with us. We get a lot of people that come up from Virginia and Maryland and are blown away by the space, so they come back pretty regularly. We also have our inn on property, so if you wanted to rent the inn and spend a weekend here with friends or family,
yeah, I saw that online.
Like a fantastic thing to do. We have a lot of people that do that around the holidays, even make a week of it over the summer and come up with a large group, 20, 25 people we can service up there. So,
And that's been kind of the theme that since we've been doing this.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to make it a destination. You guys have accomplished that by far. I mean, this is just a one-stop destination. So you can come here and enjoy the whole weekend here if you want.
Very welcoming establishment.
When you first come here, it kind of puts you on the level of thinking that you're driving into a golf club. Because I actually looked down over the hill and I was wondering where the greens were, but it does it puts you in the mind of being at a golf club, and that's impressive, and you guys should pat yourselves on the back for that one. I tell you, it's very nice out here.
So Irina, you went to school for chemistry. What made you follow brewing? Did you just like beer?
I did. I just kind of noticed that beer seemed to be one thing that could bring people together when they had nothing else in common. And I liked that about it. And I wanted to make something that would naturally bring people together and contribute to building the space that brings the community together, where people can be relaxed and have important social connections. And then having that background in chemistry and chemical synthesis, I found that I really liked making something that was more than the sum of its parts. You put grain and water together and you get sugar water, but then you put yeast in it and get something different entirely.
I did notice that when you had filled that out, that was one of your comments of what you really liked.
Yep.
What was with the lauter rakes? Is that something?
Oh, that one you have to explain. A lot of people laugh at that.
I did laugh.
So lauter rakes are what removes the spent grain. When you're done separating that grain and wort, you're left with just a lot of really heavy, wet, spent grains. And I spent my early career hoeing them out into big barrels and then moving these barrels that weighed like 6 times as much as I did out into the hot sun where they get gross after half an hour, and then you have to help the farmer load them up. And I said right there, like, from now on, I'm only working at breweries where this is automated. So, louder rakes are what push that spent grain out into a truck without you having to do anything. And I have achieved my career goal. Someplace where the spent grain is removed in an automated fashion.
Yeah.
And a lot of people laugh at that one, but I've been thinking about it a lot, especially since we had some more and more safety training around here. And it's because all this equipment is built for 6-foot tall guys. So the manway through which you hoe out the spent grain is at a comfortable chest height for a 6-foot tall guy. So for a 5'2" person, you are like hoeing up here, and that's too much on my shoulders. So maybe if all the brewing equipment was about 10 inches lower, I wouldn't mind so much. But
No,
I
I
really
think you
need the
still would have
automation.
minded it.
Yeah, that's
Especially,
true.
it's hot. And you gotta pull that out. And you gotta push the barrels out. Yeah,
It's just time that could be spent checking on your yeast, checking pHs, cleaning up, doing
Yeah.
other stuff.
Unfortunately, many industries are like that now.
Yeah.
So you didn't do any like kit brewing? You just jumped right into recipes.
I did kit brewing like 2 or 3 times.
And it was
Again, when I
time
was
to-
an undergrad, and then I realized that I was spending 8 hours to make 5 gallons of beer and spending a lot of money on it. And I could get paid to spend 8 hours to make 1,000 gallons of beer. So I decided to do the second thing.
So sounds you've already chosen the right path. I can tell you that because that Kolsch is very good. Now the recipes you come up with your own. How do you come up with a recipe for what you want to do?
I clear the style with everyone else because there's no point in making a beer if nobody wants to drink it. There's always beers that sound super interesting to the brewer, and then nobody's interested in them. And there's nothing more heartbreaking than making 30 barrels of something, 60 kegs of something, just to watch it sit around and get to the end of its shelf life without anybody drinking it. So first I go and find out what everyone wants to drink. And then once we've all agreed, yes, we'd all like to drink a Kolsch, then it's my turn to start researching what goes into a Kolsch, what are the characteristics that should be highlighted, which are the things where you have some room to get creative, and which are the things where you have to stick to the style parameters very strictly, and I go from there.
Yeah, because Kolsch is an older German style.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so it's one of the originals. And that's what we had talked about several times is the craft industry takes these original styles and just, for you as a brewer, just put your twist on it. And I think that's what drew us to this is the different flavor profiles that come out of instead of the mass-produced stuff. You start getting into different styles, different flavors, and it's just... I had some Yingling this past weekend.
Shame on you.
It tastes. I mean, it used to be one of my staples, but it tastes like Coors Light to me now. But I'm sorry.
Yingling fan at the table.
Well, we do everything.
There's a Coors Light fan at the table. That's
I'm a huge Yingling fan. Yingling has given me some scholarships. I have met the Yingling daughters who are now taking
Running the
over
business,
leadership there. I went to a golf event where some of the Yingling family was last year.
Yeah.
So I really can't say enough good things about what they make.
So you like
There
golf?
you go.
there.
I've started golfing. I'm terrible. I only play in scrambles or best
Nice.
ball,
Best
I think
ball.
is what it's called,
You-
just for fun. But when that's where all my colleagues are, I'll go.
That's these three. You do not want me on a golf course.
Only if there's no dress code. I don't have the right equipment to go to those more formal golf courses.
Yeah.
I thought they only enforced the dress codes like in the PGA tournaments. I know, what was it, John Daly? He kind of got thrown out of the PGA because
Well, he's got a
his own
bourbon.
dress code.
He's got his bourbon. He's got his carton of cigarettes.
he's got a cigarette.
He's got going on.
The one that I got was whenever he went up to putt the ball and he actually laid took the cigarette out of his mouth and laid it down on the green to putt the ball.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
usually,
picked it up and I said,
usually something you see at your local track, not on TV.
"Yeah, not on the PGA." I
Just
mean,
show it more often. You get more. They get more views. Out of it.
I know, right? More relatable.
yeah.
So do you golf, Jason?
I do. Yeah, I do. Not well, but I do. I love it. I think it's a great sport. Probably the easiest sport to drink and play at the same time. So
Yeah.
a nice way to enjoy a beer.
I have no patience. I've been thrown off a couple miniature golf courses.
Oh gosh, don't try out
So,
to.
yeah, you don't want me on a golf course.
Yeah, well, you're not supposed to drive those balls.
Well, that's what I did.
Yeah.
I just got the shits of it, and I just gave it a heck. And bam, it went. So we're going to get into another tasting. And you say this is one of your staples.
This is our flagship beer.
So kind of explain what it is.
So next we're going to try Hazy IPA. And this is a New England style IPA. And we differentiate East Coast and West Coast IPAs based on the yeast you use. West Coast IPAs, we use a very clean, neutral yeast. USO5 is the one we use. And that you're meant to not really taste the yeast at all. Just the hops are supposed to come through. But in a New England style, we use a juicy yeast that produces a lot of esters and produces a lot of like banana flavor, like green banana. And so that produces haze, stays up in solution. And that's what we use to make this a New England style IPA.
And I think we kind of heard New England's kind of now called Hazy IPAs. Is what they're kind of naming it now, not New England style.
Pretty much. Or East Coast, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Hazy just a play off of the hazy part, or is there more behind that?
Just to play off the hazy part. I think I just came up with it one day while I was driving. We had been, we knew we were going to try to make a hazy when we were, this was when we were deciding on the first beer calendar for Winding Path. And we knew we needed to have a hazy IPA. And it was the last beer left without a name. So we had constantly just been texting each other, what about this one? What about this one? And I just came up with it one day while I was driving and pulled over and texted our head of sales, what about Hazy? And, it was one of those things where you Google it and you're like, no one has taken that.
Well, I know
the challenge.
Ben likes can art. So explain the idea of Bigfoot on there.
I mean, it's hard to point to exactly what the purpose was of the Bigfoot, but I mean, essentially, we're here in York County. There's any number of farms or ridges or outdoor life and outdoor lifestyle, and Winding Path is a little bit about that outdoor lifestyle and what you might come across, whether it be real or not. Hazy and the Yeti kind of came together as a thing. We like to make a joke that there's one of our guys, Keith, who owns the farm next door, helps us out with a lot of things on the property. He's an older guy, tall, big, white hair.
Just shows up
just
when you're
shows
not
up whenever, and he's kind of here and then he's gone, and or did somebody
leaves
see
you
Keith?
gifts like just a bunch of
leaves
corn.
stuff around, leaves corn, here and there, and we kind of joke that Keith is the Yeti, so that's kind of where that came from.
So if you had a motorcycle group, his road name would be Yeti.
Yeti.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Keith. So the Yeti's name's Keith, and we kind of go with that.
And we just liked the way the white looked with the label colors, and then we happened to look it up, and if you kind of look up mythical animals by state, Pennsylvania is the white Bigfoot.
Yeti. Yeah.
So it is actually part of the state lore, though maybe not as prevalent in the culture as the jackalope might be out west.
Yeah, my wife and I argue, but I believe in Bigfoot. So
There's enough people like you that it's very popular. And once you start looking, so many people have Yeti yard art.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
flat silhouettes. There's one right on Main Street when you go through Yo.
is
On my way to work, I see one every day.
Is it like Bigfoot? My name's Daryl. From that commercial.
Oh.
So cheers to the Hazy IPA. So Irina, kind of explain what's in this.
So, of course, we start with a big malt backbone. The hops are the star because it's IPA. But we try to make the brewing art show through by also putting a lot of thought into the malt body. So our sort of signature ingredient is what's called a roast oat. So that's an oat that's roasted a little bit to make it more granola-y. And it was developed for stouts, but then brewers quickly found that they could put it into hazy IPAs to give you just a little bit of a more complex sweetness, a little bit more chewy flavor. And so we use that, and that's what gives us our signature body. And then, of course, the star is the Centennial Mosaic and Azacca hops, which give you a little bit of pine and a lot of tropical and orchard fruit, so some mango, some pear.
I do get I do get some of the mango and maybe a little pine note right at the front.
The front, yeah.
Right
Yeah,
at the
that's
front.
from
but
the
that
Centennial and the Azaka.
Yeah, it disappears pretty quick.
Yeah, Azaka's probably my favorite hop. We were using it a lot at Victory right when I left, and I definitely got a taste for it there, and so I wanted to use it in our showcase flagship IPA here.
So was I remember reading about that. You were at Victory before you came here then, correct?
Yeah, I was at Victory for about 5 years, and in the middle of that, I took a leave of absence to go get my master brewer certification in Germany. So in 2018, I lived in Berlin for 6 months where I was becoming a certified master brewer.
Yeah.
Wow, awesome.
Cool.
That is. Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Yeah, don't try.
No.
No,
We could let Kevin talk to her. He's been over to Germany so many times.
no, you don't need German to live in Berlin. It's all English there.
It's all English.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the students who learn the most German while they're there learn the least brewing and vice versa. It's a pretty intensive course. You don't have time for both.
So explain that. I mean, you're saying it's an intensive course. Is it different if you went to Germany for it than if you could pursue it here in the States?
Yes, I'm sure it's different. So all the courses have their own little variations. The course I took was an accelerated course. In years past, it had been a year long, but because it was meant for people who were a little further along in their professional career, it's not meant for beginners. They found that people at that point in their lives might have young kids or have a job they really liked. They just were trying to move up to the next level. So they found that a year was too long for people to leave their home countries and spend in Germany. So they condensed it into 6 very intense months.
And speaking of, before we speak of that, I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Very good.
That is we've mentioned we're not really IPA guys except for Ben here. So Ben really would probably rate this one.
Oh yeah, yeah. I pick that up every time my wife drags me to all these little craft
Venue.
fairs and stuff, and every time they got a truck out there, that's the first one I'm grabbing.
Yeah, it is. It's very good. So I'm going to, again, follow us on Untapped. Follow Wyndridge and Winding Path on Untapped. Are the ciders on Untapped as well?
Yeah, we have some of the ciders on tap.
So give them I'm giving it a 4, and that's pretty high for me for an IPA. So
Now, do the customers tell you which one you're going to keep brewing, or do you have a personal favorite, or are they along the same lines? You know?
The sales numbers.
Yeah, for sure.
Customers vote.
I figured, but
Yeah,
is
the
that-
register slips.
is that one of your favorites, or just the one that pays the bills here?
I do like it. I like it a lot more than the flagships at the other breweries that I have worked at.
So you mentioned flagships, and you like yours. What is your favorite style?
My favorite style is the Amber Lager or the Vienna Lager. And so we do make our Sunset Lager here, and that one's very popular, especially on site for weddings. That one's very similar to Yingling Classic Lager, Yingling Traditional Lager. So I find that here in Pennsylvania, the Amber Lager is very accessible to people who otherwise aren't familiar with craft beer.
Okay.
I have a question. For those of you who have gone to Germany, I have never been there, but is it true that they prefer to drink beer warm in Germany, or is this just something that I've heard somewhere? I've heard that in the pubs, we don't call them pubs. They call them pubs in England, but I mean, but in Germany, I heard that they drink the beer warm.
Well,
They maybe don't drink it ice cold.
No, it's not ice cold. No.
Nobody drinks their
Warmer than we drink
beverages
it,
ice cold the way we do here.
Yeah.
But not room temperature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a little chilled. I mean, when I know I was in Germany and Holland was definitely more different than Germany. That one guy took me down into his basement, and conversation started. How do you guys serve it in here? We said, like, keg. What's a keg? 110, 12-ounce pours or whatever it is. He took me downstairs, and he had 2 300-liter tanks. One was Amstel, and the other was Amstel Light. So he says, I fill them up once a week. I was amazed. But you mentioned the accelerated course in case people had kids, and we talked earlier, mentioned about you were leaving on maternity leave. Mm-hmm. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Was it a boy or girl?
It was a girl.
First
first. Yep.
Fantastic.
And how did you find that experience? A little different?
It was a little different. I definitely felt like I had to figure things out. I went looking at the Brewers Association, looking through the American Society of Brewing Chemists, and there really is no guideline for what you can or can't do while you're pregnant. And you really can't keep it to yourself for very long because, as soon as you find out you're pregnant, the next day someone's like, we need you to taste this. So it really just forced me to sort of formalize the tasting program here because it's always best to have a tasting panel. It's always best to have 5 people tasting something all the time to familiarize your staff with what they're looking for. One person can have a bad day. One person can just have been drinking coffee or chewing gum or not realize they have a stuffy nose.
Yep, got you.
Different people are sensitive to different things. I'm sensitive to butyric acid. My colleague Numbers is sensitive to diacetyl. So you want to have different people tasting to pick up on all the different flavor compounds. So it just forced us to make everyone stop what they're doing. We need to taste the beer. We need to get 5 tasters on this every time.
And we mentioned that we just had a tasting night amongst ourselves, and each one of our palates are different.
Yeah.
We're all going to taste some
sure.
different flavors out of it. So,
Right.
Jason, are you on that tasting panel?
From time to time she invites me, but not every time. It's tough, like these guys they're tasting all the time, like in regular course of business, and so their palates are more trained than even mine would be. So
That's like we've mentioned even when we started this little venture. Don't take our word for our Untapped and our what we're feeling because we are definitely amateurs when it comes to this. We just like to drink beer and drink good beer.
yeah.
We just had to get past it. Tastes like beer.
Yeah. We had to expand our palates because, like I think we had talked earlier, we like the dark. We started off liking the porters, the stouts, and the barrel aged stuff.
You like the next one.
Ben's an IPA, and our palates have opened. We're drinking them all. IPAs, the sours. Some of the sours, I'll go to that. It's like I don't want anything heavy. I'll just go to a sour.
Yeah.
Or
The more you work on it, the more you taste and try, the more you realize what you're capable of.
Yeah.
But it takes time. It takes intentional thought and intentional feedback around what did you taste, what didn't you taste. So it's an art form for sure.
Yeah, I was
And
going to
there's
say
a lot of
because
science behind it.
for me to sit here and tell you what she just explain what was in the beer, I ain't freaking doing it. There's just no way.
Well, all the way around. I mean, you don't have that, forgive me for my words, but that nasty IPA grabbing you. This is smooth and it is good.
It's very
good
drinkable.
juice.
It's very drinkable. Yeah.
Well, I was telling these guys before, I said, I think what happened to me with IPAs was as the first several IPAs I had were just bad IPAs. They were cheap. They were, out of the can. Something my son drug home from college.
Could have been a long code date, old.
And, I'm like, ugh, and put it down. And that got stuck in the head that, that's an IPA. You don't like that. So,
Yeah.
Now, you guys mentioned about collabs earlier. How often do you get together with other people close by? And
Probably not as much as we'd really like to. I think 2020 we probably did more of that than we did in 2021 or here in 2022. You think that'd be accurate? Part of it was probably just your departure from us for a little while before you came back.
We got
but
busy
do love
with that export project. The last collab we did, we were surprised how many meetings it took.
Yeah.
It takes a lot longer to design a collab beer to get everybody on the same page than
I think
when
that's
we just kind of sit down and go,
a good
"Wanna use
point,
this?
yeah.
Let's do it. Here
Let's
we go."
do it, yeah. But we love it. So we've definitely we've done some collabs with Our Town Brewing in Lancaster. We did a blackberry
Basil.
blackberry basil IPA that we did as a launch last summer, 2 summers ago. Last summer.
Yeah, we want to do a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
So we did a West Coast style blackberry basil IPA with lemon drop hop.
It was delicious.
It was cocktail inspired.
Yeah. Yep.
Super dry. With those herbs, and it flew, which is
Just
what
say
we wanted.
basil
it to
was
do.
probably going to take a forefront in that palate.
We did a good job balancing it.
Yeah.
I added the basil after fermentation. I made a basil tea and pumped it in a couple gallons at a time, so it gave me the chance to really taste as I went along.
And we're sitting in your brewery area. How big is your system?
It's a 30 barrel system, so
big
that's
system.
60 kegs, about 1,000 gallons every time.
Wow.
It's on the big side for craft brewers, but at Victory, we had 50 and 250 barrel systems. So, in the grand scheme of things, it's medium sized.
So
Medium size.
well, we usually touch on a couple things, new brewery segments, and Ben, I think you said you might have a new brewery or something coming that you saw.
New to the area, we're putting out a show twice a month, and it's hard. Not all the time. We got a new business opening up every 2 weeks. So, what I found this time was a new to the area brewery. Shy Bear has announced that they're going to be coming to Hershey in the near future. Hershey Park Drive, I believe, they're opening up in a new shopping complex in Hershey. So,
Yeah.
keep a lookout for that.
Cool.
I did see that. And they're opening up 2 locations.
Yeah, Altoona as well.
Yeah.
Those guys are great. We're big fans of them. We know Jason up there, Ephema, and haven't done a collab with them yet, but
I'm actually going to be stopping there next week.
Altoona?
No, it's Shy Bear. So we're going to take our motorcycle ride up to Boalsburg to the military museum, and Shy Bear's like right down the road. So I'm definitely going to be stopping there.
Yeah, they're great guys. Very easy to get along with, to work with. Their brewer has a lot of knowledge.
Jason and his wife run the business. They're good people. Really.
Yeah, I
good.
heard a lot of good things about them. So, did we have any beer news that we saw? I know that the breweries in PA homebrew competition, they've wrapped up most of theirs except for the northern one,
The northern one. Yeah.
and then I think the championships in October. So some home brewers are going to be getting their name out there, and
Yeah.
I know a while ago we talked when we had Brooks Haymauer on. He mentioned one of his female brewers that he was in the club with won one of these home brewing competitions, and Trogs used her recipe for the, I think it's one of the Trogonators. I forget which one it was, the chocolate one or something. The Coconator.
Coconator?
That's her recipe that Trogs uses, and so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel bad because we're every time we have this segment, we talk about all the festivals, and then they're all like in the rear view at this point. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
it's
but-
had such a damn busy couple of months. It's like
Yeah, summer's been kind of gotten away from us as far as getting regular post out. But you guys mentioned, I mean, we are coming up, gearing towards the fall. An Oktoberfest or something. I know a lot of people are going to be start doing some October
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
You
we-
said something about here in August. You got something going on?
August 14th. I think that's the date.
I know there's flyers. We got the flyers. There's flyers everywhere.
There's
But I
flyers
don't have
everywhere.
one in front of me.
August 14th, we have our Makers Market Art Festival. We'll have over 100 artists out here, independent artists, local artists, which we love to support. I mean, that's what we focus on. If it's the artists that are producing, different things, or if it's the musicians that are doing that. So that's in August. And then in October, we have Oktoberfest. Full day of Oktoberfest festivities. We'll have the German band out here as we usually do. I think we will have the Stein holding contest as we have in the past. The Oktoberfest is an awesome day on the farm. I mean, it's just incredible. When you start to see the colors that produce out here, out back in the green space, it's just phenomenal.
Sounds like we might
Weather's
have to
great.
do another podcast, but a live version from out
Hey,
here.
we'd be
Winding
here.
Pad.
We'd be here for it. Bring some friends. Bring some other breweries, and we can do a whole thing. Yeah.
See if we can hold how many steins we can hold.
Yeah.
We have hay rides too, right?
The hay rides for the kids,
nice.
axe throwing, face painting.
Oh, people love that.
You name it. The axe throwing they absolutely love. So it's a good time.
Sounds like an adventure.
Yeah, it does.
I know King of Prussia, so I did see one. King of Prussia has a beer fest royale on October 6th and the 8th. I don't know why it's not the 6th through the 8th. Maybe they need a day break, but it's October 6th and 8th. So make sure you definitely put that on the calendar, and that'll probably be on your website and your social media, what those dates are for all your events.
Yeah, we have that all there. Irina made a good point of indicating how you spell Wyndridge, because I think a lot of people think W-I, but it's W-Y-N-D-R-I-D-G-E.
And you
double checking your spelling.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I sure I spelled it correct.
Spelled correctly.
I
Yeah,
may
but
have
for the listeners out there.
I may have fucked up earlier, but I didn't screw that up. So
We don't have to do this segment again, do we?
smart ass. So you had mentioned earlier, Wyndridge stood for something else. I mean, we'll just reiterate. What did it stand for?
Yeah, so in Old English, Wyndridge means the dweller at the ridge of a winding path. And so we kind of took that and ran with it when we came up with Winding Path Brewing. And we're on a ridge. I mean, we're on a windy ridge at the farm. So if you've been out there, I mean, it's beautiful. You get the unbelievable, incredible views of the valley that's on that side of the farm. So,
And the way I brought Dave in, I came in from Lake Redmond.
okay.
And it's kind of a winding path from that side.
Yeah.
It is. We
I
have.
thought we were in Maryland there for a while. I mean,
So, Irene, you're a mother now.
Yes.
It's going to take some juggling to
It
be a
does.
mother, a head brewer.
It does, but the nice thing is that brewers, you can really work as early as you want.
Yeah,
So that's
okay.
kind of the nice thing, I can be wrapped up here by 3 and get to daycare on time. And when you're brewing, you can start your brew day whenever you want. And it gives me that freedom to kind of set my own schedule. I still work Monday through Friday, but I can kind of control when I finish by starting when I need to.
And how are you finding motherhood? Are you enjoying it?
I love it. Yeah, I
It
think
is.
it's just super fun to watch. It's really hard, and it's kind of amazing how you can get by on so much less sleep than you thought. Like when I get 6 hours of sleep, I'm like, great.
I've won.
I feel so much more alert after.
You've
like
never
a
nudged your
6
husband
hours.
and say it's your turn?
I have. She started rolling over, so she's not hungry every time she wakes up anymore. So when I know she's not hungry and that she just is stuck on her tummy, I'm like, go deal with it.
Because say Ben's just recently been through this.
Yeah, we're going on almost 2 now in November. So
Dave's been through this 100 years ago.
Nice.
There you go.
Starting already, huh? I have a grandson that I've been enjoying. He's only 2 and a half. And I can understand what you're going through because I go down and visit every once in a while, and I see how my daughter-in-law handles it. She can survive on 2-3 hours of sleep too.
Yeah.
So, enjoy your motherhood
Thank you.
because it won't be long before they're all grown up.
So everyone keeps telling me, but
It will go fast.
Bring them to your parents because they'll spoil the hell out of them.
yeah.
And Jason, do you have kids?
Yeah, I've got. I'm new in the game too. 1 and 3. The son's about to turn 3, and daughter's about to turn 1. So,
So you got one getting
Nice.
ready to walk and one that's just a terror.
yeah, that's exactly right. So,
So that's what the bags under the eyes are for.
Yeah, that's what the Hazeway's for in the fridge. So,
Jason, we haven't touched on your background a whole lot. How'd you make your way here?
Yeah, so I was introduced to the Groffs, who are the original founders of the farm, in 2019. I've always been in hospitality. My career's been spent in hospitality. I went to Penn State and studied hospitality there. And spent a lot of time in the Northeast, in the Mid-Atlantic, moving from city to city, working for large hospitality groups, mostly chain businesses in New York and Chicago and D.C., Boston, Philadelphia. And I grew up in Lancaster, PA. So at one point, my wife and I just decided we're done with the rat race that was all of those places that I just mentioned, and kind of came home and bought a house in Lancaster, and then started looking for the next thing. I had a hospitality business in New York that I ended up exiting from and selling, and this came across my desk, and spoke with the Groffs and met with them and met with this team, and was like, this is fantastic. This is exactly what I'm looking for. So came on board with them in 2020, really beginning of 2020, right before the governor shut down the state for COVID. So it was a quick learn, so to speak.
So we're happy that both of you are here because it looks like you guys got a lot of things going on and it's going in the right direction. And I'm pretty sure the owners are probably happy with the situation because from what you both have described, everything is just going from here and it's just going to keep blooming.
Yeah, we're growing. I mean, the beer business is growing. The cider business is growing. COVID was definitely a challenge. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Anybody in Central PA, in the Mid-Atlantic that was dealing with hospitality and the COVID pandemic had to had to navigate it. I had to really figure it out and batten down the hatches a little bit. But we're past that. I mean, people are out and they're back to normal. So we couldn't be happier that that's the case.
I know just when we came here, I mean, it was starting to get pretty full.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know what time that you guys opened up, but there was already plenty of people already inside, and their parking lot was starting to fill up. So,
now, where do you guys cover distribution-wise? I mean, just Pennsylvania areas, or
PA primarily. Our beers are in PA. We do send some of our product to Maryland, but then cider we go as deep as Ohio, Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, New York. We had been previously. We'd gone as far south as Georgia and Alabama and Tennessee with some of our ciders, but we've pulled out of those marketplaces in the pandemic and kind of downsized a little bit as it made sense. So we're back into that mode now, but our beer primarily is just PA.
What's the future? What's the quiet goals?
I think we're really hyper focused on making sure that people know who and what Whining Path is in particular. We're super proud of our products and what we do and what Irina and the team here is able to do from a liquid perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, we have really excellent products. And so for the future, for us, we've retooled our beer calendar for next year. We're taking a little bit of a different approach to what we're releasing, how we're releasing it. I'll let Irina touch a little bit on that, but we've developed that strategy with our sales team and internally with myself and the marketing team. We try not to take ourselves too seriously. It's beer and cider, so we just want to make products that people really enjoy and bring people together. We like to say at our table everybody's welcome, and like we really truly mean that it's just we're trying to create beers that are approachable and for everybody, even the non-beer drinkers that are trying to learn and want to understand craft a little bit better. We're not trying to create anything that's so outside the box that you can't understand it, I guess.
Yeah, I did notice when we came in here, your staff had different slogans on the back of their shirts.
Yeah.
Is there meanings behind them slogans?
Yeah, we've got any number of different things that we kind of like to say or hold on to here around the farm. I don't know what was on the. I'm trying to think what's on the shirts today.
I think create new paths is a big one, but
yeah.
I don't remember the others.
Create new paths is a big one. We like to think of ourselves as trailblazers and pathfinders. From the early days of the founding of the farm and Dr. Steve Groff and his wife Julie Groff, and why they decided to do what they did is really because they couldn't continue to do what they had been doing. So it was about creating new avenues and finding new things to do. And he was a physician, an orthopedic surgeon for the longest time, and was hit by a vehicle, here locally, on a Saturday afternoon riding his road bike. So broke his spine, and all of a sudden had to really reinvent what life was going to be and what it looks like. So that sits at the root of everything that we do here is creating new paths and finding what that new thing is going to be. Because as everybody probably around this table knows, you've got to kind of sometimes rethink what's next.
Think outside the box, absolutely.
Yep, think outside the box.
So we're going to get into another tasting here. What are we going to be drinking next, Irina?
We're going to be drinking 885 Porter next, which is mostly something we serve here at the farm. And it's to provide a counterpoint to all these IPAs and pale ales. And so this is a porter that we made to be drinkable year-round.
So this is going to be, is this a staple one, or is this just one that you make here and it stays here?
Make here, stay here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Remember to buy one.
Cheers.
Cheers.
On the 885 Porter.
Nice smell.
So, Irina, tell us what's in this porter and how you went about it.
So, of course, the porter is malty, as is appropriate to the style. And what we went about it is that we wanted something we could serve year-round. We needed more variety at the farm. Too often you just fall into that trap of having all IPAs. Yeah. So we wanted to keep this just a little bit light. I wouldn't call it a light beer, but it's definitely lighter than some porters.
It is. I can see that. But it tastes
you can
really
see it
good.
if you hold it up to the light. There's some beautiful red color that shows off.
Right.
I really love the way it looks. It's, not crazy dark, you can still see it and see the beautiful colors and see some depth and variety to the color in it. And so we make this with our standard base 2-row, Munich malt and chocolate malt and roast barley and some crystal malt. And you really get the chocolate malt coming through, and you get some chocolate flavors without it having to use anything but the 4 main beer ingredients, which are, of course, malt, water, hops, and yeast.
That was a plural on the chocolate, right?
Chocolate malts.
Malts. Yeah. Oh, it tastes good. I mean, that tastes like a...
It does taste good.
Everything has been very
Yeah, and then the
refreshing.
crystal malt gives
very-
it some like toffee flavor. And then
That's it right there.
what I like to do is include a little bit of Chinook hops because they're kind of smoky. So it's bittered with Chinook hops, which just gives you a little bit of complexity.
Yeah, no. Come
That's
on in,
fine.
Jason. We just started off, but
Yeah.
this is a very, very good
Yes,
porter.
you have to
so-
run the business.
Our,
So-
our chef would love to pop in at some point.
No,
Yeah,
we'll bring him in.
cool.
Absolutely.
Let him.
I
hop
like that
over.
idea. Yes.
We got another,
I don't have another mic, but he
I
can.
know
He
it's
can hop
him.
in and.
We could
share.
take one of ours, you know.
No, we'll let him pop in. Tell him to come
Yeah,
over.
you could take one of our
Take
mics.
mine.
Tell him to pop over here, and we'll put him right on.
I'll
Yeah.
shoot him a text and say, "Come on in."
And we'll just let him scoot up there. Tell him to bring a chair.
Yeah, out of the 4 of us, the one that's most expendable is me. So I'll just move out and he can sit here. I mean,
No, we'll just slide down and... I mean, you really don't need a headset. We can hear us.
Yeah, you can
everybody
hear
talking.
us.
So,
That porter, I can see me drinking that a lot. That's
a lot.
That's it's like you said. It's not real heavy for like a typical porter. What is the ABV on that one? You don't know?
6.1. Not off the top of my head.
But he
No.
finally got her.
So a lot of people, like we say, we drink the heavy stuff, like the stouts
Yeah.
and the porters. And you had mentioned a stout you guys do here. It's really dark, or Jason was mentioning that you do, which I would love to try sometime. A lot of people looked at us and we drink this dark, heavy beer. It's like, and it's really, those aren't really high ABV beers. Stouts or porters are usually 6 and below.
Yeah, and they're not always high calorie either. Like
It's
a lot
until
of
you
people look
barrel
at
age
Guinness
it,
and
yeah.
they're surprised that it's actually pretty light in terms of calories.
But they're so delicious.
There's
Yeah.
more flavor. To me, there's more flavors that you can pull out of it.
Yeah, like this, I'm getting the chocolate notes. I get a little bit of the roast
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
of it. And maybe at the very end, you said the Chinook, a little bit of a smoke resonates at the finish.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, and we have the bourbon barrel aged imperial from 2021, right?
Yep.
On ice right now. So
Yeah, I
we
pulled
can
some out of the cellar.
we can pour a little bit of that too, and that
Sure.
is delicious.
You got any of the
Delicious.
4-packs to go? Growlers.
We pulled that out of the library, so
Yeah.
it's a special treat.
Barrel
Hey, well-
We didn't talk about that at all. You guys do growlers?
We do crowlers, not
Okay.
growlers. We do crowlers. We just found that that's a better way to put forward a really fresh product and get people the opportunity to drink it all in one sitting.
we're finding out a lot of
Yeah, we've stepped away
breweries
from the
have
growler.
backed away from the growlers because they're just worried about the sanitation and
I think the other problem was just a period of time when it was hard to get them.
no.
It was hard to get the actual growlers so that we could sell the growler and the beer. There he is.
Yeah, we're going to bring him in.
So
Wherever you want to sit.
Around
come
here.
come over here.
You'll have to share a mic. And we're going to let Jason Irina introduce him.
So yeah, this is the man that makes the magic happen in the back house. This is our head chef Ben Sett.
This is great.
This is our executive chef Ben Sett. So get him plugged in here and
Welcome.
jump into the mic.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You hear okay?
Yeah, I can hear fine.
So Ben, so you come up with all the creative creations that are getting served out here in the restaurant?
Yeah, me and my team, we work really hard trying to come up with new and creative ways to please the masses with our food.
So is this something you went to school for, or is this just something you love to do?
No, I like to tell people I went to the School of Hard Knocks. You know, I just kind of went from restaurant to restaurant for a while, learned what I could, and just kind of put it all together here at Wyndridge.
What's your favorite compared to what's their favorite?
My favorite that we make here, I got to say, I think we have great ribs here. I think
Maybe I'll have that for later.
we do a great job. A lot of the favorites here, the mahi or shrimp tacos are a big seller. The cowboy Reuben, which is basically our smoked brisket, inside of a Reuben sandwich.
that sounds
Big
good.
seller. Yeah.
You guys get into like the cider beer pairing with the meals? Is it that?
We've done that in the past. And again, we're going to be doing that more in the future as well. They do more of that over at our Lancaster location over there. That seems a little bit more their style. But we in years past we've been doing cider and beer pairings here.
So you had mentioned Lancaster, and I think I read that you have a tap room over there.
Yeah, we have a tasting room where we have all of our beverage products. We have a retail operation on the first floor. It's a 2-floor operation. It's on the corner of Harrisburg Pike, in kind of the heart of Lancaster, right before you get to Lancaster City. And we do, like Chef mentioned, we do tastings, pairings. We do chef pairings dinners that he collaborates with on the chef that works that location. So you can find just about everything that we have here over there as well.
And where's that location in Lancaster? Did I miss that?
So it's 398 Harrisburg Pike, 398 Harrisburg Pike, right in the heart of Lancaster.
All right. So, and you work with an arena comes up with you guys. Do you guys work together? Like if she comes up with a beer, you'll come up with a food for it.
Not too much, but I do try to integrate a lot of our ciders and beers in some of our recipes. The porter that's on tap, we add that to our barbecue sauce for weddings and events, which is like super awesome.
I was gonna say because the porter we just sampled is a damn good beer.
It's very good.
Yeah. So yeah, I try to integrate as much as possible. Again, we use that in our tempura batter. Also use. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, we use Hazeway
Beer batter.
in
Fish
some
and
of
chips.
some of the other recipes.
Do we still make beer cheese?
Yes, we still make beer cheese. That also uses the Hazeway as well.
So yeah, this is great. I mean, this has been an awesome experience. I mean, from bottom to top, you guys have got it covered.
Yeah.
Sounds really
A
good.
little something for everybody here.
Yep, you got a great atmosphere for family friendly. You got good beer from an awesome brewer. The main reason that we really wanted to chase this, and I'm glad we finally were able to lock this down. And sounds like the food is definitely worth trying from a head chef sitting here. I think a team is an overall, and every
That's
business,
what everything.
you
everything
need a
is
team.
the team.
I think you guys have got the Groffs have got a good team.
Yeah, I would say so. I'd be the first to say so.
I would
guys think
agree
so
with that
too. We've got a good
100%.
team.
So as far as the kitchen goes, you have a team back there as well.
I do have a team back there. Yep, a good core group of guys and girls back there that work hard every day.
And Irina, you have a good team for your brewing. Yep, swing it over.
Swing it over. It's all good.
Yeah, we have a great team, very experienced team. A lot of people who have worked at the big breweries. Most of the rest of our team comes from Trogs, and they can really do anything. They can cellar, they can make cider, they can make beer, and they can run the can line.
So that's awesome. I mean, this has been a great sit down. The 3 beers we've had so far, awesome. I definitely want to try and grab some of that barrel age if they're willing to sell it to us.
Yeah, I'm going to have to purchase things here.
Oh yeah.
And then I have to go to Lowe's to get a bigger refrigerator.
Let's we can break out the Imperial. We should try that before
Yeah.
we got 2 cans of it up there. It's been on ice for an hour.
Shit. Yeah, that sounds great.
No, the things that are amazing is the collabs that everybody talks about. The back porch people brewing on their,
On their
literally
back porch.
back porches. Large establishments like this, labor, hand doing things, automation. This stuff is just so exciting,
And I think we've mentioned that before.
Different stories,
Different
and
stories, the
backgrounds.
backgrounds, and where the beverage industry used to come from. We've talked about going to a bar. It ain't going to a bar anymore. You're going to a facility like this. This is a destination. So I definitely would encourage people to make sure they look up Wyndridge Farm, Winding Path Brewing, and come down here, get some great food, get some good beer, get some great cider, enjoy the atmosphere that's down here. It's an awesome adventure. I haven't walked around like you guys have.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm definitely going to do
Fantastic.
that before I leave.
Yeah, we're going to walk and you guys are going to pick up. But,
Yeah.
but no, hell, I got a 30-year anniversary coming up.
30
We're
years.
going to grab
Yeah.
a room and drink all weekend.
Well, I think your wives have been sitting out there getting toasted anyhow, right? With the live music and everything else.
Yeah, I checked on them not too long ago.
Are they
and
still sitting in the chair?
they're still drinking.
They're not complaining about leaving, so they had a good,
they will never.
No,
had a good time.
no, they had a good time.
So, Dave, any last comments here?
No, I pretty much enjoyed all of this. This is great, and especially you get a chance to talk to the head chef here, and bring him in. That's nice, and I was like I said, I was impressed with Irina when she was up at the control room. Her knowledge just impressed me. Her knowledge impressed me, and just the fact that she was able to get through 4 years of chemistry. I did 1 year of college chemistry and switched majors. But anyway,
But just that couple of minutes that I listened, it was like the beer, clean, crisp. I understood what she was talking about.
Right.
The processes, it was great.
that was great. That was great.
He's doing it. Talking off mic.
Tell us about it.
Yes. We'll dub in somebody else's voice for him later.
Ben, any last comments?
I just thank you again for having us. All the passion.
Events.
What's up?
There's
Oh,
two
that's
events.
Oh,
Yeah. You were talking to me?
This Ben.
are you talking to me?
Thank you again, all of you, for your time. The passion coming through all three of your stories has been phenomenal. And I've enjoyed this very much. So
Yeah, Irina. So you've only been doing this for what, 9 years?
Almost 11 now.
11?
11.
in
Huh.
August.
11 in August. So, and
Yep.
you've come so far, and I think you've probably leapfrogged a lot of people by pursuing your passion
Yeah.
and your knowledge. And when you started talking about pH and all, I was already lost because I remember that year in chemistry, I paid somebody to take my final test because I knew I was going to fail it. It was just to get me through high school. So
They
yeah,
just revoked your diploma after hearing this.
they're not listening. So this has been an awesome experience. I was glad that I reached out to Jason and he replied, and we were actually able to set something up when you got back from your maternity leave. And having Ben sit in here as the head chef is last. And Jason
great,
said,
yeah.
bringing him in. I'm like, crap, heck yeah, this is awesome. Irina, any last comments? This has been great.
No, it was great that you guys called us a destination. That's really what we're trying to be. We're not too far off the turnpike. And I think it's worth the trip out here. So come and check out the beers. We want to introduce you to a style that you've never liked before, and you're going to like it now.
The IPA. I got to say it.
Yeah,
I got to say it again.
You're not an IPA guy.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, usually we're introducing people to Berliner Weiss or whatever else it is, but that's what we're trying to do is make styles you've tried before something you'll like this time.
Yeah.
Where do we find you?
this guy was the
In
start.
Dallastown, Pennsylvania. South
beautiful.
York County.
Wyndridge.com. WY.
West of the
WY.
Susquehanna.
WY.
WY.
Down the winding pass.
Almost Maryland. I don't
Beautiful.
know, whatever
No.
you wanna call it.
Ben, any last comments as the head chef here?
Just want to say thanks for having me last second. It was pretty cool to sit down and talk with you guys. I totally agree. I think we have a really good team here. Brewery, banquet, front of the house, upper management. We're pushing forward. We're trying to be trendsetters here.
I think you guys have accomplished that.
Yeah.
And we're going to do our part to push this out and make sure people know about this place.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate you guys making the time and coming out and making the contact and finally making sure that we got it done. So
Yeah.
It's been a fun afternoon. Been a really fun afternoon. We enjoyed
Yep.
showing you guys the property and talking about all the things that we do out here and all the ways to Wyndridge. And come see our Scratch Kitchen. Come see our Scratch Brewery. Come enjoy what we do and see all the work that these teams put in because it's well worth the trip.
Yeah, I know. I'm bringing my wife back for sure. She won't drink the beers or the cider. She might try cider. If she does, do you have Coors Light on tap?
No.
You have a very nice Pilsner.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Great Pilsner.
So this has been an awesome experience. I thank each one of you again for having us here. I know we've taken up some of your time on a Sunday afternoon, but we're gonna cheers out here with one last beer. And you were saying this is going to be the final of this one.
Oh, we're
This
doing.
is
I'm
the
sorry.
penultimate beer in our
Yeah.
silo series. So this had been a series where we were highlighting new and unusual hops. Some hops were very, maybe they're so new that not very many acres of them are grown yet. So we could only get enough pounds of these hops to do just one small batch, as opposed to something like the Hazeware where we're going to need 1,000 pounds of it per year in order to make enough. So in this case, we had highlighted the Talus hop and the Brew 1 hop. And they have the Brew 1 hop is a ton of pineapple, and then the Talus is what we call a Neo-Mexicanus hop because it comes from the southwest part of the United States. And it has some of the newer flavors that are just starting to come through in mass-produced hops. It almost tastes a little bit like cannabis. It's what we call a dank hop. So if you taste it, it's very green, kind of sticky, and there's just a lot of green, sticky pineapple juice flavor that comes through.
Smells
and I think
great.
it's really cool.
Yeah. So one last question. We've run into this before. The Phantasm powder. Have you heard of that? Have you wanted to experiment with that?
I've heard of it. I wanted to experiment with it. That I think is a little outside the scope of what we can sell 30 barrels of. So maybe when we get a pilot system, that's so niche, and we are really trying to appeal to people that are coming here
Correct.
for weddings, bringing their
Yeah.
families.
Yeah.
So we just don't see a place for that in our calendar right now. But I've been watching in.
As my mic messes up, I got two things that just came to mind. One of them, be sure to check out our walkthrough video. We talked about a pilot system in the future, hopefully, in that walkthrough video. And number two, mention the 80-acre farm. We haven't asked this. We've asked this to several others. This one just came to mind. Have you guys experimented with growing your own hops on the facility, or?
No, we've worked with Pennsylvania hop growers,
Okay.
but we don't do it ourselves.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So
All right. Take her home, Brett.
take it home. So this is the Talus Brew 1 from the Silo series. The Solo series. Is it Silo? Silo series.
Silo.
It looks like it's number 23.
Yep.
And this is the last one, correct?
Second to last.
Second
One more.
last.
In
One
the
more.
fall, you'll see our Lotus Sultana IPA, which I'm also very excited for. Come back for that in October.
Yep.
So, Jason, Irina, and Ben, thank you guys very much.
Yep.
And make
Cheers.
sure you look for us on all our social media at Central PA, centralpapour@gmail.com. And let's all be bonded by beer.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks so much.
Cheers.